like start recording just to be safe.
Oh, yeah.
Like mad scientist gloves.
Yeah, like mad scientist gloves. That's what we use to clean the fryers with. I've never seen these arm sock things before. But that would make sense. That it looks like something like archery or some specialized arm sock for something I don't do.
I don't know. It just looks like it looks like the arm of a sweater or a sock I think it's just someone made to confuse everyone. Like it's a sleeve without a shirt.
I mean, I'm not saying that this person probably didn't use something like this, but I'm just saying it's weird. And if you're putting your hand into the fryer, why would you want to have your hand uncovered? The thing that's going to be touching the hot grease.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to even go near, like, I don't know, like, I always assume that everybody that works with a fryer just gets this, like, giant scab over their arm.
Well, you should have seen, because we were busy one day, and this chick I was working with, she came in and dropped something in the, like, we were all running back and forth, and she dropped something and sprayed fryer grease all up her arm.
Oh!
And it was terrible, like, it bubbled up. I was like, oh my god.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Okay. Oh my god. We pretty much busted that it's not a, fast food garment.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, folks, you heard it here first on the cast. That's not a fast food garment.
Wait, we're recording the podcast right now?
I just started recording just so I wouldn't forget. Like, we talked for an hour and suddenly realized, oh, we didn't start recording. We literally went into the podcast and started talking, and then we weren't recording, so I decided just to start recording.
Damn, because we did actually talk about a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but so now we will continue on. That other stuff is now in the vapor, in the cosmic consciousness.
Should we introduce the podcast?
Okay, alright. Introducing
the Plastic Cat Podcast. Ooh.
A collaboration between the awesome one known as...
Me.
Yeah, that guy. Ghostface Killer, Shark McPuncher...
Hyperbolic Rhyme Chamber.
Should we go by our Skype names or by our Tumblr name?
My name is Ryan.
Ryan. Yeah, Ryan. My brother's name's Ryan, actually.
I remember you told me that. He lives in Seattle.
Yeah, well, he was in Seattle. Now he's living here back in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is Ryan, and I'm Tom. Or Boogerface, if you want to call me that. We go by the names Hyperbolic Rhyme Chamber on Tumblr, and I go by Too Spooky to Kill, which looks like I wrote it drunk.
I did for the longest time think it was Tot Spocky Cockle. But I don't slow down to read things. That's my problem.
Yeah. Well, that would work.
Before the show ever aired, I thought Metalocalypse was called Metateclipsa.
Actually, you know why they named it that?
Why?
They originally were going to call it Death Clock.
But isn't there like already a band called Death Clock?
Yeah, there's already a band in real life. I think they broke up recently. It's like, oh, so the thing we were trying to avoid copyright on doesn't exist anymore.
It's got to be annoying. That's like when you sign up for an online forum and the name that you want to pick belongs to somebody who never posts.
Yeah, that sucks. It's like, you motherfucker, you stole my name, you don't do anything with it?
I don't even know how that happens to you, though.
I don't know, it's like, it doesn't really happen that often because enough places don't really have TACBot89. It's just sometimes I don't want to go by TACBot89 here, I'll just pick something else. Actually, once TACBot89 was stolen on one place, and I kept on just adding more numbers and different combinations like TACBot Unit 89, TACBot whatever. And by the end,
I've actually seen a bunch of those.
Yeah, it's weird. I had to re-sign up for SmackGs because I couldn't get into my old account for some reason.
So what is your new one on SmackGs?
TACBot Unit 89.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the new account. So back in 2011, I went back to SmackGs because I hadn't been there in months. And I went, you know what? I'm gonna start posting on here again. And it turns out I couldn't get into my account. I couldn't remember the email, and I couldn't remember the password. So no matter what I did, I couldn't get back in.
Well, the only reason I went with Sonic Ock is because somebody had taken Sparky. So.
Like that bastard, and they never post.
Like Sparky is literally, I think since I've chosen that name, I've discovered that it's probably the most used nickname online.
Well, because one of them.
Some variation of Naruto lover Sasuke or whatever.
Yeah, Sasuke, Naruto lover together. They are making out, and it's hot. 89.
That's gonna be my next nickname. That whole thing.
My next nickname is going to be Corgi in a cage, just staring at you. Why you're doing this to me?
Ellipses.
Ellipses. I love names like that. You know what was really funny when Homestuck came out, and just a wave of names of those characters from Homestuck started appearing on DeviantArt and other places. It's like, Car Cat, Penis Rubber, 96. XOXXX or something like that.
Like, what happened to all the Homestucks too? Did it end?
No, it's actually, here's the thing. I've been trying to catch up on it because I finally decided, you know what, I'm gonna read it. I'll just read it. I give up. I've actually started reading it recently, just so you know.
Oh, really?
I like it so far. It's just that I have a real hard time trying to read the chat text.
Well, see, like, I started reading it at 1.2, and it's awesome. I do like it, but it's like,
Well,
it's one of those situations where it is so intimidating that it's long as hell that I actually stopped reading it for a little while.
Well, here's the thing. It hasn't updated in like a month or so. You want to know why?
Why?
Because I think the guy Andrew Hussey was working on a dating sim for Namco.
Plus, isn't he working on like a full Homestuck game, or
Yeah.
is that?
He's working on a full Homestuck game, and he's actually planning on doing the end updates all at once in one big hunk.
Oh shit!
So he's gonna do like the last arc in one big go, so that he can just have like a smooth update all the way. But that means that Homestuck is temporary.
It's on hiatus.
Yeah, it's temporarily on hiatus.
Sorry,
I was
started. You were dying.
Yeah, actually, it was like I was doing that thing of like that sort of weird half hiccup, like oh.
It sounded like a death rattle. It was like.
I'm good at death rattles. I just record them when I'm sitting at my desk. Like I'll just be sitting there bored going, I want to make disgusting sounds into the mic, so I'll just record that. And then I'll alter them in Audacity and sit there thinking, maybe I should put this on free sound. Put this disgusting, horrible, like esophagus rubbing noise I've made.
Put it on Newgrounds and let people make cartoons out of it.
Yeah, like, and see what happens. Is it going to end up in one of those cheap horror games or a porno?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, you said cheap horror game, but my first thought was, dating sim. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Like, I always try to sit there listening to dating sims noises and think, what did they do to make that noise? And I'll try to replicate it.
I don't know if you've ever seen this video. It's an old video I used to show a lot of people called the Porn Foley. And it's this redneck dude. He's like typical redneck, like no sleeves, like red cap all torn out. He's all like, yeah, it's a highly specialized career. Like sometimes you got to figure out, like, what's a ball sack sound like slapping against some butt cheeks. And then he has like a pickle and he's slapping it against a piece of ham.
I've never seen that. That sounds amazing.
It's hilarious. Like he's putting a popsicle on some mayonnaise.
Oh my god.
And then later you see him eating the popsicle. I'm just like, oh. It's the skeeziest thing.
Oh my god. I don't know. I remember, actually I heard about apparently a manga that is about the girl who records the sounds for dating sims and EROG.
Oh, I gotta read that now.
In this case, it's this. It's even weirder. It's even weirder because it's this older sister that talked to her just coming out of high school sister to make those sounds.
Goddamn.
So it's really bizarre, and I haven't read it. I just saw a review by that guy, Y Ruler of Time.
I love that dude.
Yeah, he did like he did like a video of things he would not review, including like what the hell's the name of that one manga that's kind of like The Thing meets the Body Snatchers? Parasite, I think.
Parasite, yeah.
I love that manga just because
that's a good.
I just like anything that has people just turning to flailing body parts and tendrils.
It is a cool manga. I love the art in that especially.
Yeah, I love anything that has good freakish monster designs, which is kind of... It's weird because I'll see plenty of mangas that will have that as a screen cap somewhere. I'm like, I'm going to read that, and I read it, and it's like 500 pages until you get to that. It's always so annoying because like I'll see like, oh, this is a good-looking horror manga, and it's like, oh, it's one of those. I'm really picky when it comes to like, I don't like this style, I don't like that. I'm kind of a picky asshole.
See, for me, it just depends.
It depends. Like, do I like these characters? Can I don't know. Like, I've read like I read a Sojo body horror manga page, and I could never find it. It was strange.
Huh.
It was. I think it was like something where these. I think it was something where these girls were turning into octopi or something. So I think either the page was fake or the Sojo was never scanned beyond that page.
I don't know. It sounds familiar. I think I've seen that.
But yeah, but I like Parasite, and so I kind of. Wait, what were we talking about? We were talking about rednecks putting mayonnaise into jars, putting popsicles into jars,
Yeah,
jars.
he's the porn foley.
Yeah, he's porn foley. Yeah. Oh, I thought you said folio at first, so he was showing his folio of sounds.
Oh no. A porn folio is what my art blog is.
Oh, right. Lots of dicks and butts and monster blowjobs.
Exactly.
Monster blowjobs abound at sparky.com.
.net,
.net.
.org, .gov.
.gov. Yeah, actually, I'm subscribed to one of those sites that has like old screen caps of really old like Angel City and GeoCity sites.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I love those. I love old like websites where you would just be reading the address, going, "What the fuck is that saying? It's gibberish."
I used to go to those a lot.
I go to them sometimes. Like I like when you find a site that you thought was not there anymore, and it's like, oh god, this site's older than me. It's still up.
Well, just like last year, I found one of my old GeoCities websites.
Wow, really?
Yes, and it was about nothing. And by the way, it's a terrible website, and it has a bunch of pages of nothing. And then it has like the 8-bit meaty version of like Enter Sandman on every page.
Oh god! Oh god! That's like Angel Cities and GeoCities into one page. Like that's what all they were. It's like,
You know what my first message board was?
what?
It was the Adult Swim message boards in like 2003.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember when they launched, but it was not long after the Adult Swim message boards launched.
I think my first message boards was on a Flash game for a cereal company when I was like 10.
God damn.
And here's the stupid thing. I was actually illiterate, so I couldn't read or write until like I was around 15, or very well until I was like 15. So I literally created these illegible, like, nonsense, like, it looked like a Dadaist poem that I was writing.
That's actually kind of cool.
I really wish I could find it, because it was like me trying to create something that looked like a sentence in spelling without actually knowing how it worked.
I don't know if you watch Squidbillies.
Yeah, I do. I like that show, kind of.
Can't remember the name of the author they had on there one time, but it was basically about early being illiterate, and he goes and talks to this author, and the dude's all like, "Oh, I can't read either. Yeah, I just type. I just put spaces where it looks like they should go, and then they publish it." It was Dean Koontz or somebody huge.
I think so. Yeah, Dean Koontz. I tried reading one of his books the other day. I can't read. I've been trying to read a bunch of authors that I missed out on. Dean Koontz one of them, but every time I try to read them, like, I get bored.
I stopped reading after school.
Well, you do what you want, but I like books. I like horror stories because they oftentimes have more interesting plot structures than a lot of horror movies.
Well, I recently read Fight Club. I'd never seen the movie, so I read it and then watched the movie. And the book was really good. But I thought the movie was better.
Well, that's actually what the author thinks. He likes the ending of the movie much better than his book.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool how it ended in the movie.
I don't know. It depends with me, because like I'll sometimes see a movie and like it's oftentimes it depends. I think either one's good most of the time. It depends on what you want. There's like a lot of people that like the movie better, or like the book better. I don't know. I just oftentimes I think it's a weird hang up with adaptions, but I sometimes like the book better because, like in this case, I like a lot of books better because they have a lot more going on than the movie.
My brother-in-law is like that with because he's a huge Game of Thrones. He's one of those people.
Oh, yeah, you should.
And well, he let me borrow one of his Game of Thrones books that I started reading, but I never got around to actually reading it. So but I still haven't returned it to him. So he eventually just bought a new one.
I actually have like 3 books that I borrowed from one of my mom's friends in a drawer.
Of the Game of Thrones?
No, actually, they're an old. One of them is like an old, like a really well-known cyberpunk book.
Blade Runner?
No, it's a. Blade Runner is sort of like, Philip K. Dick helped create cyberpunk, and I think this other guy helped establish it into its main, more well-known form. Let me think. I think it's a book called Armed Memory, where it starts out like this dude being his old college friend who somehow genetically modified himself to look like a werewolf or something.
That actually sounds radical.
Yeah, the only problem is that I have a problem with reading because, like, if I don't get the style of writing at first, I start having problems with it, and I start sort of zoning out. Which the problem is, like, I problem with Stephen King. I've tried reading this one book by him called The Buick 8, and I've getting tired of reading all the people just sort of sitting around going, "We shouldn't tell him the story. Let's tell him the story." So it's like I feel like I'm watching a bunch of sort of boring motherfuckers at a bus stop.
Yeah, I don't see why people love Stephen King so much.
The thing, I kind of like all the adaptations that are done of his work. Like, I love The Shining. It's my favorite horror movie.
Yeah.
And things like that. And I like the guy himself, but every time I try to read anything, it's like, I feel like either there's too much going on at once, apparently, for, like, in his plot synopsis, and I think, how are you gonna get that all to work together? And then I read the stories and I go, oh, because you sort of drag the viewer on as you go along this boring town.
That's exactly what it kind of is. Like, I love The Shining. Everybody loves The Shining. People like Cujo and adaptions of his stuff. But normally people love adaptions of his stuff because somebody else had to be quality control over it, and then the version that we get is not exactly like the book.
Well, yeah, like he apparently hated Stanley Kubrick's adaptation of The Shining, and actually was angry at him for like years.
Which is weird because it's like there was a mini-series of The Shining.
Oh God, I watched that the other day online.
And it was ridiculous.
Oh, it was bad. The only thing that anybody can say that they liked about it was that the guy who played the father, was apparently good. That was.
But I couldn't get over the fact that it was the guy from Wings.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like, it's the guy from Wings, kind of. Yeah, I think the problem with the Shining adaptation too is that I was watching it going, they directly copy the dialogue from the book, which dialogues from books do not work in movies.
No, yeah, that's it. It's very, like, prose-like and wordy and boring.
Right. Like, that it works in the book because you have to have characters sort of expand upon themselves, but also, I don't know, it's kind of like how my thing, like, books don't really need to have people talking endlessly. In fact, some of my favorite books actually have no description. Like, it literally has some guy wandering around a bizarre landscape, never talking to anybody. It's just sort of him in his own head.
A novelization of Samurai Jack.
Yeah. Well, in this case, it was more like some guy, I think I'm mixing up with something else, but it was like a guy who got trapped in some sort of decaying world where literally the universe was ending. So all this weird shit was happening, so it was just him by himself watching as the world sort of decayed, and him comparing and contrasting Earth to this.
So you read a lot of cool books.
I like books because it's kind of like how I love comics and things like that, because a comic or a book, the author has total freedom, depending on their ability and their creativity, to create this completely fabricated narrative story setting characters and use the tools of, say, like a comic. You can either tell a story like normally sequentially with images, or you can play with the viewer's perception like you can with like a novel. So like a novel, you can have a story that is so abstract in its narrative and characters that you could never film it. Like, say, this guy is the concept of time itself, and as he explores the decaying corpse of a human being, and thus the decaying corpse of the human being is the setting of the novel.
See, that's freaking awesome.
Right, but but of course, if you try to adapt it, it would be very hard because the language of, say, film versus the language of a novel is very different. So trying to directly adapt it, you have to have an eye for both. So you have to have okay, you adapt all these scenes of monologues into more scenes of, say, like a movie can accomplish things that a novel can't, and I think a novel can accomplish what a movie can't. A movie can accomplish descriptions of sweeping vistas in moments because there's a sweeping vista. Like, we are in New Zealand, so we're in the Lord of the Rings, asshole. So get on with it.
Yeah, like comics are kind of like that too, because even though it is visual, like, it's different from books, it's still different from film in a lot of ways.
Right, well, like comics, well, yet again, you have to kind of, like, comics have their own sort of language. Each medium has their own language. Like, movies has their own language, timing, and sort of feel. Like, so, like, say, you'll have a lot of comics that'll say, oh, this comic is very cinematic. And then you'll have somebody go, I don't feel this comic is cinematic, it has its own language. Like,
Watchmen is a great example.
Right. I like Watchmen. I like how it's...
It's kind of the least cinematic comic I've ever read.
I think it's almost sort of it's almost, I think, paced like a sort of more like a novel, where it's very slow paced, more concentrated on character and continuous growth of something. Like it grows and goes towards something. While a movie has to be sort of quick in a lot of ways because you only have an hour or 2 hours to tell a story.
And I think that's part of where the Watchmen movie failed, because it kind of tries to have it both ways.
Yeah, it fails because it adapts a lot of things from the graphic novels and either takes the teeth out of them or tries to be too visceral.
Yeah.
So scenes that should have been much more visceral and have much more visceral, gritty edge felt too glossy and music video-y in the worst way.
Because it gets the stylization in the movie is so heavy that it just makes
like, while the comic almost had this great sort of blend of high realism and grittiness with this almost sort of fantastical alternate reality to it, where it was neither afraid to address issues of what would happen with superhumans, but also wasn't afraid to sort of deviate from the timeline, the original, like our world.
Yeah.
Which what would happen with superheroes? Like, that's what would happen with superhumans and superpowers. The Earth would not look the same.
And I feel like if it had picked a side and how it kind of portrayed that, it probably would have been a little bit better. Like The Incredibles is like the better Watchmen movie to me. Yeah, it's a way toned down version of the story.
But you couldn't have like the full Watchmen experience with The Incredibles because that would have been traumatizing to small children.
Yeah.
It's like, oh god, they smashed in Jack's little head. Oh god, Mr. Incredible is fucking that lady. What's happening?
They used like the strengths of film to kind of tell a similar story to what's going on.
Right. And, that's why Brad Bird is a fucking genius. And all that Pixar team was fucking geniuses. They were able to tell, like, I find that The Incredibles is the best superhero movie ever. It's my favorite. Like, I don't care about all the other ones. All the other ones have their strengths, and I like them. But The Incredibles captures what I like about superhero stories. Both in its cleanness and, fun, colorfulness, and its almost sort of dark tone. As opposed to superhero adaptations that sort of just go sink into, we're sinking into mud and grit and darkness.
Yeah,
and,
like DC.
Yeah.
Like any DC movie adaptation, especially the current DC movie adaptation.
Yeah, like all of them, it's like, okay, we get it. Like, everybody liked the Nolan Batman. Can we kind of get some new direction, some new look? Oh, we're gonna make, like, that Superman adaptation, everything I heard about it, I'm like, that's not Superman. That's like a weird 90s off-brand of Superman.
Yeah, it was weird. I did like that movie, but man, I had a lot of problems with it.
I don't know. I think, I don't remember, that's the problem, is I remember watching it, yet not watching it, so I can't remember. All I know is that I did not like it. Of course, yet again, I'm kind of a prick. And yet, I really liked this other movie I remember seeing the same day. It was basically everyone hates it, because it's weird and bad.
What was it?
I don't remember. I was half asleep.
Damn it.
Like, the problem is that sometimes I'll go, I don't remember that because I was sleeping while watching that. So I either dreamt it or it happened.
Well, see, I'm waiting for, like, the Marvel movies. Because the Marvel movies, like, I've always liked DC Comics more than Marvel Comics. But for some reason, like...
Well, the Marvel movies are more like how DC Comics used to be. They're, like, kind of bright, colorful, and, punchy.
And not embarrassed at the fact that they're based on comic books.
Right. Which I think more movies should be like that. Like, if I ever, like, I want to make a comic book adaptation. If I made one, I would just be like, it's a comic book adaptation. It's a person that flies. There's supposed to be wonder and fun with that. It's like Superman's supposed to be this, Superman is basically the icon of goodness and power. Like, I am Superman. I'm here to be, a symbol of good and righteousness and what humanity can be. As opposed to jerk with a mullet.
Yeah, or like deep existential angst. Like, DC is trying, like, especially in their current adaptations after the Nolan Batman movies, they're trying really hard to pretend like somehow that the concept of superheroes, people flying around in tights and shit, is not a little bit goofy. You gotta admit, it's a little bit goofy.
Well, like, I think that's the same problem that a lot of horror stories kind of get into, is that I kind of see it, like superhero adaptations, like the ones that are gritty, they never really explore real questions about superheroes. They just sort of do that sort of sophomoric, like, oh, I'm angsty because I have superpowers, I'm different. Well, whatever, you're like, I think that Superman could have emotional depth because the sheer fact is that he's Superman and he can hear everything bad going on.
But you can't, like, force it on him, you know what I mean?
You can't force bomb, so you have to explore his emotional depth in a way that feels, right. Like, Superman wants to save everyone. He wants to protect the Earth, but he can't do it all at once. There's only one Superman. He can only save so many people. He can't save everyone. That's what you explore in Superman. Not like, oh, I'm different and I'm weird and I'm, It's like, no, he wouldn't be like that.
Well, even, like, if you think about, like, yes, Superman being kind of an outsider in some ways is a part of his character development, but him being, like, a regular Like living as a human being and developing as a regular human being is actually a huge part of Superman. Like,
That's a huge part of Superman, and that would be much more interesting than, say, him going, I must be isolated and alone in this fishing village. No, he's supposed to act like a dork up in the city.
exactly.
I want to see Superman act like a dork, because that's what he is, he's a big Boy Scout dork from space. But no, it's like you have to make him gritty, and I wanted them just to give him the curly Q hair he had in the 90s in the movie. Like, what was that haircut he had in the 90s comics? I don't remember.
The mullet,
Yeah, the mullet, that weird curly mullet he had.
the like mullet and the black costume. Well, that's almost. I don't know if you remember, but we almost had that. We almost had a Tim Burton Superman
With Nicolas Cage.
yes, curly, molly-haired Nicolas Cage. Which, by the way, I probably would have loved.
I would have loved that. That would have been the greatest cult movie ever. That would have been the great. I want that. I want that more than the Bryan Singer or whatever. That guy who does the slow-mo colors.
Zack Snyder.
Yeah, Zack Snyder. You know, here's the thing. I like Zack Snyder. He's a very good visual director. You just have to have someone to kind of lead him by ear.
I didn't like Bryan Singer Superman either, though. That was the one from like 2005 that had
yeah.
yeah.
It was like a direct sequel to the 70s films, and Superman was kind of a boring dick. Lois was kind of just like there going, hey Superman, why'd you leave?
Yeah, it was trying to be like a Richard Donner Superman, and that's the thing I really like about the new Superman, because it's not at all trying to be that.
Well, the problem, it seems to be, it's trying not to be the Richard Donner Superman, yet it's still kind of chained to certain elements, so it still kind of gets fucked up.
Yeah.
So I think yet again, I think they would have to, I don't know, I wish someone else had directed it and written it. Like, someone would have gone, you know what, let's go erase our minds of Richard Donner and look at the comics and figure out what we can do. Like, I really wish that they, I kind of wish that they did an adaptation, because I'm waiting to buy the adaptation that one where Superman gets like a lethal dose of radiation and has to save the world all at once, All-Star Superman.
Oh yeah, that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I want something like that, but of course we'll never get that, because DC's going, no, we have to make dark, gritty adaptations that look like they have emotional depth. It's like a really dark puddle. You jump in and there's nothing. It's like,
that's the best. I'm sorry, I'm off. I'm texting.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, man.
First podcast. Yeah.
Well, we'll edit in post. Like, what? I wasn't texting. I was reading this whatever fancy novel I can think of, and smoking this pipe and being intellectual. Penis dragon. I'm on this guy Mel Hex page, and he has this colorful Eastern dragon with a penis head.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'll just. I don't want to reblog it, because I kind of get uncomfortable reblogging penis or anything sort of porny, because I don't want to offend anyone.
Yeah, I've only gotten uncomfortable about it. Not because I get in trouble about it, because every time I do, my wife points it out to me. She's like, you're reblogging porn again. And I'm like, for real? And she's all like, I didn't reblog that much porn. And then I go and look at it, and I'm like, oh.
Sorry, you reblogged a gig of porn. You reblogged 3 computers worth of porn. Which is alright. It's just that sometimes I get tired, because I had to unsubscribe people, because for the entire week my dash had, like, I'd be scrolling through, like, cartoon, GIF, comic, whatever, porn. I'm like, okay, I'm glad you have interests, but I'm kind of getting tired of all this porn.
I think that's why I have a revolving door of subscribers. I do legitimately, I get like 5 subscribers a day, but then like I always have roughly the same number of subscribers.
I'm currently up to about 333. It was 335 the other day.
Oh.
But
that's because right now I'm at 699. But
cool.
For the past 2 months, like 2 months ago, I was at 692. But I've gotten like 25 followers since then, which means I've lost like I'm not good at math, but I've lost more followers than I've got. So.
It'd be like, God damn it! Like, well, either you lose followers because you blog porn or you blog Dragon Ball. Like, God damn it! What's with this Dragon Ball? I didn't come here for Dragon Ball. I came here for
porn.
He's not blogging enough porn, or he's not blogging enough MS Doom. He's not blogging enough whatever. Like,
this dick dragon is. It's a rainbow dick dragon.
I kind of want that on a shirt. So I wouldn't know where to wear it to. I'd be afraid that someone I knew would take a picture of it, and my grandmother would see it on Facebook. my grandma would be like, oh. I don't know if she would do that, though. She's Colombian. I don't think they do that in Colombia.
She's Colombian?
Yeah, my dad and his whole family are Colombian.
I didn't know that.
Well, you never asked.
I thought you were Las Vegian.
Well, I'm a Las Vegan by birth. I'm partially French and some form of Native American on my mother's side. And gosh, I'm basically just sort of a mix into one stew of like one dude. Like, I kind of come from this part of the world, this part of the world, and this part of the world, and I'm really pale because I don't go outside enough.
See, I'm always wondering because I also wonder about what your last name was too. I do know what your last name is, but I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, it's everybody spells it wrong. Actually, it's really funny. It's really funny because it's only 3 letters.
Yeah, I was about to say like how do you? But like what kind of last name? Like what's the ethnic origin of the last name? I guess.
I think it's Irish, possibly Scottish. I don't remember. It has to do with I think it descends from the fact that our family is on one point my grandmother's side that our family comes from a long line of cooks.
So you're the Cooks.
Yeah.
I actually have a friend named Cook. So.
Well, yeah. It kind of got corrupted into the one that we have now.
I have I don't have an ending to that thought. So.
well, you had an ending. That thought it was a nice grunt. Ending of every thought should end with a grunt, like It's like you could have not done that into me.
That's beautiful.
Actually, I was thinking about a horrible thing because my brain tends to go to horrible places. We were driving to. My mom was dropping me off, me and my cousin's girlfriend off at he and his dad's place. And while Kate was driving on the freeway, we saw a stretch limo Hummer.
The Hummerzine.
Yeah, the Hummerzine. And basically, me and Kate and Ian's girlfriend Danielle, I forgot her name for a fraction of a second. Like, how do I forget someone I've known for like 3 years? And we were driving along, and we're basically going, yeah, like, just fuck Mother Nature when you're driving that. You don't give a shit about humanity and Mother Nature and then the future. Like, and Danielle just said, like, yeah, I'm gonna pour a gallon of gasoline on some flowers, and I said, yeah, and they're gonna jerk off onto some endangered species. Like, cause I got the image of some poor bird that's dying out because of something, like some human involvement, and then some guy just, you see him come up and you see him looming over the bird, and the bird's looking scared, and he unzips. And you hear, like a...
This is beautiful. Making direct eye contact the whole time.
And the poor bird's like, oh god, please don't let it happen. And the guy's like, it's gonna happen.
That's awful. That's terrible.
I'm a blight upon humanity in human form.
I always tell like, anytime I go out with my wife, I'm like that though. She's like, I don't jack off on birds, but if she's like, I like to mess stuff up. That's like my hobby. So like if we're walking around a retail store, I don't drop anything on the floor. I don't ever break anything, but I'll make the shelves look unpleasant. Or I'll just needlessly move something it's going to take like a second to move it back, but it's just like, And we both worked in retail, so it's not like I don't know how it is, but it's just like, it bugs her so much and it's hilarious to me. And she looks at me and she goes, seriously? And I look her right in the eye and I'm like, I'm too punk rock to give a shit about these fucking oats. Bam!
I remember, like, I think I went to a store once in the middle of the night, and someone had moved all the KY lube to, like, I think the kids section, to the toy section.
See, that's awful.
That's awful. It's awful. Well, first of all, like, how did they do that without anybody noticing?
And second off, why did they do that?
I don't know. It's like, I'm just sitting there going, how did they do that? Why would you do that? And, like, because someone had to have noticed. Somebody going right along with arms full of KY lube, going back and forth because there's cameras and there's employees.
I think they just don't care. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, in the middle, well, they're working at Walmart or whatever store in the middle of the night. Like, why should they care? It's like, this isn't where I wanted to be. I wanted to be an astronaut.
It's like, I'm not even going to expend the energy it takes to stop you from doing what you're doing.
Like, I just imagine just someone going, wait, stop, but fuck it. Why should I care? I just got yelled at for a can of beans. For retail people, please be nice to retail people. Anybody who's listening?
Don't be nice to retail people. Give them the excuse that they need to finally go over the edge
and beat someone with a mallet.
Exactly.
Halibut. Or some sort of large fish, whatever large fish is nearby.
But,
This is what you wanted, this fish, you fucking... Here's your change.
so,
Okay.
sorry, bad transition on my part, but,
Transition.
I've been conspiracy minded
Yeah.
this past couple of months because I used to be super into conspiracies when I was younger, but recently it's come back. And the catalyst that brought me back into conspiracies is the Beatles.
Yeah. Paul was the walrus.
Paul was the walrus. It's my favorite conspiracy. I talk about it every time there's a Beatles song on. My wife is so tired of it. And the worst part is, I really don't even believe it, but I know so much about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't believe it. Because it's cool. There's a lot of interesting theories and a lot of stuff that makes a lot of sense, but it's just kind of bullshit.
Well, that's like I kind of maintain that conspiracies are sort of like a weird form of religion. You have to have some form of faith for a lot of them to work.
I think that's true.
Like
I also like the idea of it as like just alternative history.
yeah, I like conspiracies because they like first of all it gives me a lot of interesting things to work with for a story. Like here's a conspiracy about like a worldwide network of people. Like there's like this one conspiracy that I think was actually true. There was like this story and there's a story called I think The Crying of Lot 49 by
No, go ahead.
That guy, that guy, if my dad was here, he could tell me. I'm pretty sure he's getting a psychic nosebleed right now. Like, Tom can't remember a name of an author I like. A famous, world-renowned, influential author, and he can't remember his name.
And what was the conspiracy?
The conspiracy was that there was this, I think the conspiracy was this form of secret underground mail service that people used during, god damn it, I'm trying to, I'm only half remembering. It was like this mail service where I think it was referenced on a Radiohead album.
I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the secret mail service in Crying of Lot 49. Like, maybe, I'm gonna look it up. But it was like this mail service that was used by undergrounds, by discontents, and anarchists. And so it's like, so you had this, so I think it's been referenced throughout history, and I think there was and it was used in the Pinchon novel, the Radiohead album, and something else I can't recall. Oh, also, the Cry of Lot 49 makes an allusion to the Beatles.
See, that's perfect. It all comes back together.
The Beatles run this massive secret underground mail service, and the guys you think are dead are actually not dead. They're actually immortal cyborgs or something.
The guys that you think alive are actually dead.
And are being kept alive by necromancy.
That's beautiful.
See,
I love that. I love that it all comes back together. My favorite conspiracy was also, I think, is a conspiracy theory that is the biggest bullshit I've ever heard in my life. Is the New World Order Illuminati conspiracy.
I love that. Actually, did you know the Illuminati was a concept invented by a major anti-Semite?
Leonardo da Vinci?
Yeah, Leonardo da Vinci said, fuck the Jews. I don't like them. I don't like them. They're flat bread and their little hats. And they're...
See, I don't know who started it, but it's just something like it all comes back into it. Because like the biggest thing, because I was reading about the Beatles. Every time I read about the Paul McCartney being dead thing, it always comes back to the Illuminati or reptilians. That's the other one.
That was my favorite because I every time I hear about them. Did you know that Stephen King basically wrote a reptilian book?
About reptilians, or the book is a reptilian?
Yeah, it's literally a lizard you get and you pet its spine, it opens up and you read it. No, actually, he wrote a book where this kid, I think it was Calling All Creep.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and because basically the creeps are lizard people who apparently have been planning to take over humanity. So basically, Stephen King wrote an Alex Jones for kids.
Fucking Alex Jones.
Alex Jones and the secret lizard men who have sent robots to podcast for us.
So beautiful. It's so beautiful to watch him go. The reason I hate this conspiracy theory so much is because the one time that has been true to my knowledge is the Freemasons. The Freemasons were like the New World Order. Ooh. But what they were just a bunch of fucking math nerds, and they just put a bunch of stupid math puns in all of our historical monuments throughout the country. That's it. So my favorite idea about like a they live type conspiracy where somebody's pulling the strings behind our backs and we don't know it is where they're inept at it. They're not doing anything sinister. They're just doing it.
Yeah, they're just jerking off in their room with their cloaks and pipes.
It's kind of beautiful.
Because, okay, let me see. The Illuminati. Actually, I think, okay, let me think. The Illuminati, I either heard was a organization started by people who are there to preserve knowledge in times of crisis, or was invented by a lady who hated the Jews.
What the fuck?
That's what. Also, if you need to know what that sound was, that was my phone.
Now your text.
No, my phone's basically telling you have an email. You have an email. Look at it. I'm not going to look at my email. I'm going to put you over here, phone. You're going to go in the corner. Actually, I need to pay for some minutes because I have a pay-as-you-go plan. And I need to pay for it just in case my dad texts me.
See, we have like an everything plan. Where we have like a set amount of data.
Yeah.
We've already used it. We've actually used, because we have shared data, we've actually used twice what our allowance is. So I'm a little terrified about what my bill's going to look like.
Oh, God. Oh, God, no. Look at the bill and it's just a pair of angry eyes.
Ugh.
Just angry eyes just staring, going, young man, what have you been doing? Been texting those sex lines? Those cryptozoology sex lines? I had a dream about reptiloids running a sex line the other day.
Sexy.
And I think the Chupacabra had to work there because, like, he spent all his money from something. He got famous with, like, Bigfoot at some point. Then he spent all his money on, like, something.
As the big cryptid guy, what do you think about this Bigfoot tour that the guy's going on with the dead Bigfoot?
Oh, God. Okay, somebody who's been a fan of Bigfoot his entire life. Bigfoot tour? I haven't heard of that. Big.
For real?
I've been kind of, I don't know, like a Bigfoot tour. I got Bigfoot tour? God.
Yeah. It's because it was in the news. This was like 2012, I think. He caught and killed Bigfoot and had his body in a freezer, but wouldn't let anybody look at it.
Oh my God!
Kind of-
I think I heard about that. That sounds like a Twilight Zone episode or a X-Files episode.
Exactly. You've probably seen the picture. Just try to find like dead Bigfoot.
Oh God! Bigfoot hunter hoaxer takes corpse bear rug on tour.
Yes.
Oh my God! This looks so. Look at this guy. Have you seen a picture of the dude?
I have. It's so beautiful. We'll have to post a picture whenever we post the podcast.
Yeah, I need to. I have a Tumblr set for the podcast. But look at this, the Bigfoot he has. Look at this thing. It looks kind of like a Green Man, kinda. You know what a Green Man is?
No.
It's like these forest spirits or these like giants. They're either like between 6 or 8 feet tall. They're like covered in leaves, and they got these like faces, these like old men faces made of leaves, with like hair made of leaves. And they're like these weird. I don't remember. I think they're either. This is my problem, is that sometimes I'll remember something halfway, so I'll mix up with something else. Like I think either they're guiding spirits people commune with, or they eat children.
Dang.
It's like it's either one. Like, so I'm either mixing them up with, like, mixing them both up, but it's a thing that happens. It's like, a Green Man is a sculpture, drawing, or other representation of a face surrounded by or made from leaves, branches, or vines.
Jolly Green Giant.
Yeah, he's basically the modern day Green Man, essentially.
God damn.
Because if you actually look into a lot of old sort of things like old culture and things like that, you suddenly realize that everything that ever existed sort of just gets recycled forward and forward. So so basically the Jolly Green Giant is the subconscious recreation in commercial form of the Green Man of today.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, it all gets recycled until it eventually turns into advertising.
Yeah, basically because modern day advertising is sort of the modern day whatever. Tommy's trying to use fancy words, sort of the large culture that we see all the time. We're bombarded with.
So that's how our kind of shit gets passed on.
Yeah,
that's a little sad, actually.
it's a little sad, but of course then you also have graffiti and things like that, and sort of children's drawings. So it will eventually be passed on in a more positive way than say the Jolly Green Giant. You ever see the stop motion advertisement they did for him once?
No.
Like, it's horrifying. It's just terrifying. Like, it's this Harryhausen looking abomination. Where it's this like poor little farmer that comes out and he watches as this giant, just stiff moving, twitching terror thing comes from over the hill. That's bigger than his silo and has this rictus grin.
And then suddenly he can't find any of his shit because it's all in his pants. Oh.
And it's like and the Jolly Green Giant's face is so terrifying, and it's like he has this like face that like has this. You ever see like one of those grins where it's like too big and its eyes never close, like, so it's looking like it looks like it's trying to be friendly, but instead it looks like it's about to eat your children.
It looks like necrosis is start to set in.
Yeah, it's like the Jolly Green Giant is the last of his kind, and he's basically hunting mankind as he rots.
This is a great alternate universe. Jolly Green Giant.
The Jolly Green Giant is actually an avenging terror spirit that wants to kill all humanity for killing off the other Jolly Green Giants. Once mankind worship us and revered us, but now we are dying, so I must destroy what we had created. All of mankind were created by Jolly Green Giant, by the way. And you would know that if you were to subscribe to the Underground Beatles mailing list.
Our zine.
Yeah, our zine. Our zine coming out this fall.
So what is your favorite cryptid?
I think it's either between, like, you know, I'm kind of boring. My favorites are either Bigfoot, the Chupacabra, and this other one. I can't quite recall. It was like this weird one where it was a horse with arms longer than its legs that slapped people about in the woods when they got lost.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it had like big weird human feet and hands that would slap people.
What's that one I'm trying to think of? It's the something monster. It's like the Gainesville monster or something like that.
Oh,
It was involved or something. I don't want to say Gainesville because I'm from Texas. That's the only thing I can think of. But it's something like that with a G, and it was involved. It's related to an alien craft sighting. But basically, it was like it's kind of shaped like a weird bell with huge eyes.
Oh, the Flatwood Monster?
Yes, that's what it is. Thank you.
I love that one. That one's so weird. Like, I love that. Like, why don't they have a movie for that?
They should have a movie for that.
Well, here's the thing. They'd probably make a movie for it, and then they would make it look stupid. They would try to...
Because it looks super cool in the old photo.
Yeah, it looks so creepy. It's like this... It looks so weird and creepy and otherworldly. The Flatwoods Monster, because that thing is amazing. But then in a movie, they would try to do, like, a 90s, like, edgy reimagining.
No.
Like, this is how it probably really looked.
No, they got to keep it old school and crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking... Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, I looked up the Flatwoods Monster, and I found, you know that the History Channel show, Monster Hunter?
Yes.
They had an episode apparently with the Flatwoods Monster. This is what they made it into, and it's 3D graphic. I just sent it to you. Oh my god. What?
Take a look at this.
Oh my god.
That doesn't look anything like the picture.
That is the weirdest thing. Okay, like, whoever made that, okay, here's another one. The close-up a bit to it. It's apparently it looks like an X-Men character. It's floating in, like, this metal flying saucer skirt.
Ooga booga booga.
Okay, I kind of want that to be a separate creature, though. What the hell is that?
Where's its vampire cape?
Where's the vampire cat? I think they reinterpret it as a, oh god, what the fuck is this thing?
This looks like the reptilians to me.
It looks like a reptilian without legs. It's a crippled reptilian. He has to fly around that hover skirt.
Professor X reptilian.
He's the professor. All the reptilians, all the cryptids are actually mutants from the future.
For this, and there's the school of the gifted fucking monsters.
The school of the gifted weird fucker monster. I just sent you another one. It's really teeny, but it's weird. I don't understand it.
Ah!
What's
It's half sleeping bag.
it's the Reptiloid sleeping bag mutant.
It's terrible.
God damn you, History Channel! I don't know.
I'm so angry at them. Between this and Ancient Aliens, I don't even know what to think of History Channel.
Well, you know, they used to be the Hitler Channel. Now they're the Hitler Space Channel.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Okay. This is weird. Okay, I'm on Google on Flatwood Monsters Monster Quest. They have sightings, Mothman, which makes sense, and then they have Majora's Mask. Oh, they made a reference in Majora's Mask to the Flatwoods Monster.
Oh. Well, that's weird.
That's weird. I'm gonna send this to you. This is weird. Oh god, that's horrifying. I remember, children, if you got in the woods at night, this will follow you and eat you. I just sent you something.
It is Majora's Mask. Oh, I actually know what this is. This is the fucking and I haven't played it, but my wife's a huge fan, and she tells me that at one point in the game you have to get, like, it's her favorite Zelda game.
Mm-hmm.
As he says at one point, in order to 100% it, get everything, you have to scare away the monsters.
Yeah.
They're aliens
Oh my
that have taken over the ranch, and this is what they are. They're the Flatwoods Monster. That's actually really cool.
That's cool. Actually, did you know that guy Balachi?
Balachi?
Yeah, the dude who draws monsters and things like that.
Oh, kind of.
Yeah. He apparently. Did you know that one of the Pokemon is actually based on a well-known UFO sighting cryptid?
Which one?
It's that one where this ranch full, like, okay, it was this house full of hillbillies, just these redneck motherfuckers, and then suddenly these alien goblins started just flying from the sky, just floating down from the sky, and they were like these like monkey things with like long ears and big bulbous eyes and little noses, just started levitating down into the trees around their house.
God damn.
And they were like, and then they started shooting at them.
See, they do a lot of drugs in the hills.
Yeah. That's why you write a lot of, like, that's why people write horror stories in the hill, because, it's like, either you're going to be attacked by chemically fucked up hillbillies, or something else. Who knows?
I'm trying to figure out what Pokemon that is.
Oh, also, on the Mothman's Google thing, they also have Mothman connected to 9/11.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's like, there's pictures where people were trying to say they sighted the Mothman.
Let's not get into Bigfoot's involvement in Benghazi.
Yeah. Bigfoot's, and of course, Chupacabra and the Bay of Pigs incident, in another reality where it went differently.
It's a false flag to keep us from the truth.
Yeah.
I actually got into a fight with an ex-girlfriend once.
Oh,
This was in high school, and I don't want to say, if you're Wiccan and you're listening, I'm not saying that I have an issue with your religion at all. I actually think it's pretty cool. But I don't know if she quite understood what a Wiccan was. I don't know. But we got into it one time because we were talking about cool stuff that we believe in, and she believed in fairies and vampires.
Yeah.
And I thought at this point, like, oh, so it's time for me to bring up Bigfoot and aliens because that's literally a thing I believed in. And she told me that was bullshit. And you can't believe in fairies and vampires and try to tell me that Bigfoot is bullshit.
Like, I think someone got mad at me for that, too. It's like, fairies are so real, but Bigfoot's bullshit. Like they believed in some, like, fairy religion, that fairies were some sort of higher spiritual being.
But won't listen to it when you bring up Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's like, that's stupid. I'm like, I think a giant, big-footed ape thing in the woods is probably more credible than super advanced fairies from a future timeline.
Well, the person I normally talk to about conspiracies and things like this is this dude that I work with, Javier.
Yeah.
He's a short Mexican dude with dreadlocks. So, but we have a lot of really cool conversations, and he told me his theory for what Bigfoot is.
Yeah. What is
because there's in Utah there's a lot of backwoods.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of Bigfoot sightings are. Well, he's telling me about what they call them are the Mormon Lost Boys.
Yeah.
They're like exiles from the Mormon religion who go off to live in the woods, and they're a little feral.
Oh.
But people are seeing the Mormon Lost Boys, and they're assuming that they're freaking another species when it's just like hairy dude.
Oh, wow.
And that kind of blew my mind a little bit.
That's amazing.
It also blows my mind how crazy Mormons are.
Mormons are weird. They're strange folks.
And during the election, nobody wants to talk about the fact that Mitt Romney is part of the weirdest religion. Like,
he has special underwear. He has magic underwear.
Oh my God.
That's basically there is actually a book where it just calls the Mormon underwear magic underwear, and that's by the Mormons.
We've already alienated some listeners.
I'm so sorry, listeners. We do not mean to offend. Well,
if you're a fan of Mitt Romney or Mormonism, I'm sorry that you're into really weird things.
Well, considering I'm the type of guy that'll just stay up all night and look through a person's gallery of their own weird smut, and just like try to figure out why they're into it. I think it's like why does this person feel the need to continuously draw, like, say, whatever cartoon character being inflated? They have over 500 images, and they've only been on this art site for a week.
You know what the craziest one is for me?
What?
I've gotten a message from this dude, and I can't find him for the life of me, but I know other people who have gotten a message from this dude. He wants requests. He wants requests and trades. Like, he'll write you a story if you draw for him. It's female cartoon characters like Dexter's mom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In the front seat of a car, but like the car is really not visible. Like, it's kind of like a cut off from the side view of the car with the airbag deployed on them.
That's weird.
Yeah, and it's all like, you look at their gallery and that's like all their gallery is. It's things that other people have drawn and their own crude drawings, and then their favorites is that exact thing. It's like,
Oh my god.
how specific? Well, I was also talking to my friend Talking the other day, and he got a request on DeviantArt from somebody. I don't remember what the name of the character was, but they wanted a cartoon character getting her feet tickled.
Oh my
But
god.
they wanted the feet like in stocks, like old school torture stocks.
That's actually a fairly common one. It's weird.
It's weird how common it is
It's-
based on how specific that is.
This is the thing. I keep on trying to figure out where these sort of weird fetishes come from, where the origination comes from. There's people that actually have theories that a lot of the cartoons people watched as kids, because the people who were that age range to be the age range is really strange because they all coincide with the era of broadcasting cartoons on television. So you had a lot of people who grew up watching continuously, like Looney Tunes and things like that. So if you look back, there's actually cartoon gags where people have their feet locked into stocks and tickled.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. But wait, I misread it. There's actually more to this one.
Oh.
I'm going to read you word for word what it is. 'Cause
Oh.
there's a part 2 to this fetish.
Oh god. Get ready.
They want them drawn in a car that's stuck in the mud.
What? Wow, you're getting detailed, motherfucker.
Like, I guess I can get the stocks and the tickling, but where does the fucking car stuck in the mud come in?
I don't know. What the fuck? That's so weird. How does that work?
I just,
Like, there's a narrative we're not getting in here.
I'm lost. I'm a little intrigued. I want to know what's going on.
I want to know. It's like a David Lynch bit, but you don't get to see the rest of the movie. It's like they show you one scene, and now you're lost. It's like, what's the context of this? What does it mean? It's a cryptogram, man. It's a conspiracy. It's we gotta ask Paul McCartney. Ring him up on a cyborg phone.
No, we can't ask Paul McCartney
Yeah.
because it's the fake Paul McCartney.
Yeah, it's the robot partner. Okay, I'm so stupid. I don't remember which Beatles dead.
Okay, hold on. I can actually, because I can go into detail about the Paul McCartney thing.
Oh god, yes, let's do it.
Okay, here's the basic facts of the conspiracy. In 1967, the Beatles were having a falling out in the recording studio. Like this was the point that they were arguing kind of heavy.
Mhm.
And Paul McCartney leaves the studio in a rage. He gets into his white Aston Martin and drives off in the night. Now, at about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, they get a call back at the studio to have them come identify somebody that the police think might be Paul McCartney.
Mhm.
And they describe it as he's partially decapitated, like his head is split open,
Whoa.
and his body is like contorted.
Shit.
And this is the reason that this fits into the theory is the I Am the Walrus, or no, it's Come Together.
Okay.
It's Come Together, where it's like his feet are down below his knees. It's something like that. And then the other part is the I Am the Walrus, because they say that his disfigured face kind of resembled a walrus.
Okay.
And in the costumes for the I Am the Walrus cover, like, you can tell who everybody is except for the walrus. And John Lennon later reveals that the walrus was Paul.
Damn.
I'm getting off track here.
Okay.
Basically, they had to cover it up because it was their idea. The Beatles was so huge at the time. This was like the maximum height of the Beatles' popularity.
Yeah.
That there would be mass suicides from fans if they found out that Paul McCartney was dead.
Shit.
Because you'll note that this is also just after they stopped touring.
Damn.
I'm sorry, this is all the stuff that makes it sound kind of credible. But there supposedly around this time was also a look-alike contest in America to find a Paul McCartney look-alike. But the winner was never announced. This is where Billy Shears come in. You know, the Sgt. Pepper's, like, now Billy's here.
Yeah.
That's what they're talking about. They think Billy Shears is the look-alike, the Paul McCartney look-alike
Damn.
that was hired to replace Paul McCartney. And the reason that he has a beard and a mustache on the Let It Be album is to cover up the surgeries to make him look more like Paul McCartney.
Shit. Damn.
And supposedly John Lennon was going to come forward about it, and that's where that conspiracy comes in. The quote-unquote crazed fan that murdered him, the quote-unquote crazed fan that murdered George Harrison.
Damn.
And it makes sense if you think about it. Like, who would be the one to go along with it but Ringo? Because Ringo's not out to make waves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that said, I think it's kind of bullshit. I think, you want to know my theory about what happened?
What happened?
Because, you know, there's all the clues are in the songs and the album covers and everything like that. People can point to them, and they look really crazy when you point out all the clues. I think the Beatles were kind of assholes and they loved to play pranks. I think the rumor started in 1967 and they caught wind of it and just rolled with it for the rest of their career.
Well,
I think they're just putting shit in there to confuse people because they did that.
Right.
When John Lennon found out that a professor was having people write about the deep meanings of their songs, he wrote "I Am the Walrus" to fuck with that guy because it's about nothing. So they did shit like that. It makes sense to me.
Right. Actually, I like to think that, well, it's kind of like, you'll have shows that that'll catch wind on a fan theory on it. So
And then
they'll start putting in clues towards that theory and then fuck with them.
I think that's what the Beatles did.
Yeah, that's what they did. I think that they did that like on, I'm trying to remember what show they did it on, but I can't remember. But yeah, so like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a good way to explain it. Either that, or all the Beatles are time travelers, so they just concocted this. Like, maybe the Beatles were in fact it was a combination of a conspiracy theory that the Beatles were in fact all from the future.
Maybe current day Paul McCartney went back in time, killed past Paul McCartney, took his place, killed John Lennon, killed George Harrison, and told Ringo, if you know what's good for you, you'll keep your mouth shut.
You'll keep your dirty mouth shut, you goddamn shitbag.
Ringo gets it.
Man, they should make a movie about that.
They should. I should watch it. Actually, there's a couple of documentaries that I've seen. My favorite is the Winged Beetle one, just because it starts off normal, like every other thing that I know about the conspiracy, but then it starts going into Aleister Crowley, and the Beatles were really huge into Aleister Crowley.
Damn.
And then it goes full swing into Illuminati.
I had an Illuminati Wikipedia tab open, so maybe I could read some of that.
You know, Jay-Z's in the Illuminati.
Oh yeah, all pop stars are apparently all current popular pop stars in the Illuminati.
Justin Bieber's Illuminati, or is he just?
He's just
there.
He's just a dickbag. He's not in the Illuminati. He wanted to join the Illuminati. Be like, get the fuck out of here. We have JC and Usher and fucking Kanye. Get the fuck out of here. Wait, would you have Kanye West? You don't need Justin fucking Bieber. But so the Illuminati apparently is the name to several groups, both real and fictitious. Historically, the name refers to the Bavarian Illuminati, a Enlightenment-era secret society founded on May 1st, 1767 to oppose superstition, prejudiced religious influence over public life, abuse of state power, and to support women's education and gender equality.
Illuminati.
That's interesting. And then I think at some point, someone who is I'm trying to remember, Barrell and Robinson, between 1797 and 1798, August Barrell's memoirs illuminating the history of Jacobson and John Robinson's Proof of Conspiracy both publicized the theory that the Illuminati had survived and represent an ongoing international conspiracy, including the claim that it was behind the French Revolution.
Holy crap.
So, before even the internet existed, there was Illuminati conspiracies. Of course, before the internet, there was the Illuminati, zines.
Well, everything's fucking Illuminati.
Everything's Illuminati, All your favorite shows be canceled, Illuminati. All the shows you dislike, still be on.
Illuminati.
Wikipedia, your page you wanted to edit being locked.
Illuminati.
Bigfoot not being real after this guy shoots him.
Oh, that was. No one knows what that is. Ancient aliens.
Ancient aliens, whatever. Who cares? Ancient aliens always do shit. They're just fucking with us.
The thing is, I'm not even completely ready to rule out the ancient alien bullshit.
Well, I kind of like the idea that humanity, that there's been it's like the idea that if you look at it mathematically, if there is that much life out there that should be, say, advanced enough to space travel, at some point, someone should, saw a flying saucer crash on Earth. Not even to intervene, they just got stuck. Oh shit. Stuck in...
See, I like the idea. The way that I look at it is like we're kind of like a science experiment, and the reason that we're aware of, say, an alien presence, but not necessarily nothing conclusive or factual can be said about it, is because they're observing us and they're trying not to ruin the experiment by interacting. But you know how people are. If it was, say, an advanced race of people, or an advanced race of people similar to humans,
mm-hmm.
then you would still have people who wouldn't be able to resist coming in and interfering or having some kind of hand in what's going on.
I kind of like to think that all the alien sightings are just aliens coming in and fucking with us.
Oh, that's even better.
You have this entire colony of aliens that incubated a species of us and maybe various other planets, like all the maybe I like to think the entire universe as we exist in is one of several incubating universes. So you have other ones that have other species that are incubated, and every time there's an alien sighting, it was just some dickbag kids of the scientists that came and fucked with us.
The fucking alien beetles.
Yeah, it's fucking alien beetles. Like just kids come in going, okay, you put on this reptiloid suit and you go in and rule them over there, and you go talk to Alex Jones, and I'm gonna go fuck this hot blonde chick, okay? All right.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Man, Alex Jones just messes up my world.
Like,
Alex Jones and Jesse Ventura. They should get together and make a TV show.
yeah, I'd watch it. Oh, hey, you know what's really funny? You ever listen to the podcast where they live?
No.
Okay, what's his name? The wrestler that was in that, Roddy Piper?
Yeah.
He believes the movie's true.
No way.
No, he does. He apparently believes it's true. Like, if you look at history, he apparently tells, it's this weird scene. Like, I love listening to IO of the uncomfortable situations.
Oh, wait, I know what you're talking about. He talks about it in like a commentary, doesn't he?
Yeah, he talks about it in the commentary for They Live, where he's there with John Carpenter, so John Carpenter's just sort of sitting next to him, and Roddy Piper's going like, yeah, didn't you see, like, he saw a documentary, which was actually a parody from the 50s.
About the TV broadcast being interrupted.
Yeah. And he's talking to poor John Carpenter. John Carpenter's kind of like going, yeah, okay. Just sort of, like, so imagine long haired, balding John Carpenter just sort of sitting there next to Roddy Piper trying to figure out if he should leave the room or not.
It's because he saw what he did to Superfly Jimmy Snuka. He's like, well, I don't want to get hit with a coconut.
No, like, okay, whatever you say, Roddy Piper, please get me out of. It's like just trying to call in his phone, like, please get me out of here.
God damn.
Please. Well, it's kind of like, you ever see that David Letterman bit where the guy who played Marty McFly's dad in Back to the Future?
No.
No, not, what's his name?
I
'Cause
don't know. I gotta go look it up. IMDb.
IMDb to the rescue. Ed that out. Ed all this out, and it's like, I know who it is. It's that guy. Because I'm an Orwellian editor. But okay, apparently the thing I remember about him is that he played the dad to Back to the Future, and he's apparently crazy because he was on
Crispin Glover?
What?
Crispin Glover?
Yeah, Christian Glover. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, we knew it was Christian Glover the entire time. But Christian Glover was on David Letterman, and he was on there. He had this big puffy haircut, had on these weird flared pants, and these 6-inch lift shoes. And he had this weird, tray of ears or something. We never know. He never explains what they are. He just brings them on, just sort of sets them aside, and never references them.
The fuck?
And then Mr. David Letterman's going like, so you're in this new movie? Yeah, I'm strong. I'm real strong. I said to him, I'm strong. And he's having a whole other conversation, and then he gets up and he's towers over poor David Letterman in his desk and just starts doing kicks.
What?
Waist high kicks, and David Letterman's just kind of looking like, please get me out of here.
I've never seen that.
Oh my god, I have to look up and show you. Goddamn, what's his name? Okay, David. Hopefully it's still.
I also gotta get going pretty soon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I gotta pick up my wife from work.
Okay.
But see if we can find it. Because I gotta see this.
What's his name again? David Letterman. And what's that guy's name again?
Crispin Glover? I don't know if that's him, though.
I have.
Did he play the old version of the dad or the young version of the dad?
The young version of that back in the 80s.
Yeah, that's Crispin Glover.
Yeah, Glover. I don't remember how to spell his name. God damn it. Oh, I found it. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Oh, here it is. Thank you. Here it is. And he's wearing glasses.
So it looks smart.
Yeah. He's smart and strong.
I gotta see this.
It's crazy, man. So while Sparky watches that, I will tell you about the Thunderbird. The Native Americans from the area surrounding Point Pleasant had a story of a giant, terrible bird called the Thunderbird that could easily swoop down and carry away a man. And here's a photo of the said bird, which is, I think, the size of a fucking Buick or something. And many images that people have seen of him actually resemble, say, images similar to, say, the Mothman. And
Sorry, well, I missed that. Thunderbirds?
yeah, Thunderbirds. It's like this conspiracy about this, like, it's this bird that looks like it's about to be as long as, like, 2 trucks are, put nose to nose with a wingspan that big.
God damn.
And it's so, and I think it's about 8 feet long.
But this Crispin Glover thing is crazy.
Yeah, it's like, and he never says what those ears are. He never tells you. He just sort of brings them up at some point, and it's like, here's my tray of ears.
What the fuck?
Here, like, and he doesn't call them ears. They look like ears, but you can't get good enough to look at them, and he just puts them to the side. So you're forever like going, "What the fuck was that, Kristen Gilbert?"
I think he's just super high.
Well, have you ever seen his movies? He apparently does lots of movies, like his own art house films, where he actually a critic online got in trouble. This guy called Kyle A. Baird, I think. He doesn't like going by that name, but I remember that the Brows Held High guy. You ever see him?
Oh yeah.
He got in trouble. He had his video taken down because Kristen Gruber sued him.
Oh.
Kristen Gruber said, "Get your fucking video down." Well, technically, the guy was reviewing a illicit copy because that film was never released to the public.
Oh.
Which also happened to the Cinema Snob because he was reviewing a film that was never released.
All right, man, but I gotta get going pretty quick, so...
Okay.
Successful cast?
Yeah, successful cast. Alright, this has been the Plastic Cat Cast with me, Boogerface McGee.
And me, Poopy Nose Johnson.
And that will be the first cast, possibly, unless, I don't know, the sun explodes.
Yay.
The sun explode or Christian Glover comes and kills us. Kicks us in the face until we explode.
I think that was a good cast.
Yes. Alright, see you later, man.
Later, man.
Talk to you next week, or I don't know.
Well, I'll probably get in touch with you before then.
Yeah, we'll try. I'll try to be on Skype. Later, man. Bye.
Bye.
Cast it over, go home.